Okay, so I'm going to take a couple of minutes and do a quick walkthrough of ElasticClaw, which we use to set up factory.amazecrm.com. So a quick back review of what we've done so far is we've installed ElasticClaw and configured it. And I'm a developer for AmazeCRM. I'm helping build this new CRM product, and I can just get started on it and sign in. And you can see this is the product. It's a CRM. It's a totally fake CRM that we're using for the purposes of this demo, where I have some stuff. I have a linear board where my product managers added all these issues for all the features that they actually want to add in. I've configured Daytona to be my sandbox provider over here. Really quick, let's pop through the factory settings. So I'm over on factory.amazecrm.com, which is my software factory. It's running ElasticClaw. This has been configured with Daytona as a sandbox provider, Fireworks AI with Kimi 2.6 as the current inference, a GitHub app. We're using a GitHub app instead of a personal access token in order to limit the scope and make sure we're using ephemeral tokens. We have an issue tracker configured, which is linear. And then we have a couple of secrets configured. I have a template called AmazeCRM Dev. The template shows how the OpenClaw instance is going to get set up. It has the Soul MD, the Agents MD, the Tool MD, files like that on it. And I have my factory. My factory is my pipeline of how everything works. Okay, just went through a lot there. We're going to do a quick demo and show how it works. So I'm going to grab a story, global search, a really well thought out story. We're going to try to drag this over to the to-do column, and the agent should pick it up and run with it. So let's head back over here. So there's no ElasticClaws running right now. I'm going to take global search and move it over to to-do. As soon as I do, Linear sends a webhook to ElasticClaw. ElasticClaw detects it, sees the trigger in the factory that we have, and then spins up the factory. And so it's called AMA22 because that's the name of the story. And that will have created a Daytona instance. And right now, what ElasticClaw is doing is it boots up the Daytona instance, which is really quick. And then it makes sure the latest version of OpenClaw is on it. And it creates the GitHub tokens that it needs. It clones all the repos. It does all this. And then it's going to start by injecting a message, which will get this running. So I'm going to pause it for just a minute while this finishes setting up. It takes about 3 minutes or so to finish creating the factory. Okay, so our Daytona instance has been completely provisioned. It injected this message. This initial message just kind of comes from the factory YAML that I have configured. And so it basically just says, here's your task, AMA22, global search, and a link to it. And it tells it to actually work, use linear, things like this. ElasticClaw includes a linear, like lightweight and linear MCP server in order to do it. So right now, it's basically exploring its workspace. It's trying to figure out what to do. While this is working, I'm going to kind of walk through a couple other things. If I drag more story, so you can see actually the factory moved the story from to-do to in progress to indicate that it's actually working on it. And we can actually see that happened 6 minutes ago. If I drag more stories over, they will fire off in more columns. And so if you have different folks on your team moving stories around, you can come here and actually see the entire dashboard. If you click on one of these, it takes you to a full screen view, which is a little bit easier to see if you want to focus on it. And you can see here's its implementation plan. Basically, this is just a total dark factory. I would never have to come to this UI if I didn't want to. I could do everything from linear. We're going to also go to github.com, AmazeCRM, and you can see right now we have one PR for a README. I'm just going to go ahead and close that PR. But that's it. The code hasn't been touched in a little while. It's probably a week and a half, 2 weeks old right now, last week. So that's working on that story. While this continues to work, we're going to go through a few more things. Like first, we show the context window. So we're at 18% used right now. This has context management built into it. When it starts getting full, it'll wrap up. You can flip the card over. You can see that it's connected. It hasn't identified a description yet. If it opens pull requests, they show up on the back of this card here. Things like that. So this is going to continue to run as long as it needs to. So this is, again, running on Kimi right now, but it can also run on Anthropic. It can run on Codex. Now it's going to update the linear issue with a summary and mark it as completed. So if we hop in here. You can see starting an implementation plan. So the factory narrated its progress back into linear as it actually went. And what it should be doing now is creating a pull request. It may take a minute. And then we can actually continue to prompt with it. You know, what branch was that on? So we can continue to talk with the factories because the code hasn't been merged yet. It's still, it will automatically delete itself at that time. But no, it was made on the main branch. I need to update my prompts to be a little bit more specific. So yeah, like, so we can continue to operate with it kind of like in a more traditional agentic coding experience. But the idea is, you know, you pick these up in the issue, and then you actually just see a PR come out the other side of it, and that's the expectation. You can actually come to ElasticClaw repo on GitHub. It's all open source, and we can actually head over to ElasticClaw AI, and we have all of our docs here, which shows how to set it all up, and all the videos for all the previous stuff is all in here. Love to hear any feedback. Thanks. Oh, it's actually just finished. So before we actually go, let's actually take a look at it. So it actually did make this PR. So if I come over to GitHub, I refresh, it made a PR. I can actually then, this finished just in time. I'm going to let this agent turn itself off. So it's finished, it's done, it turned itself off. The Daytona box was deleted, and I have this. All right, thanks.